Following Superman's humiliating defeat, Bruce Wayne, the Grim Knight, understood that the battle was far from over. He had drawn a line in the sand against both the criminal underworld and the so-called heroes who sought to stop him. But Bruce knew that to maintain his reign of terror and ensure Gotham remained under his iron-fisted justice, he had to neutralize a dangerous player, Bane. Bane was no ordinary criminal. A towering figure of muscle and intellect, Bane had become a terror to Gotham City, fueled by the experimental drug Venom. The substance made him stronger, faster, and nearly impervious to pain. However, Bane wasn't just brawn. His brilliant mind and strategic cunning had cemented him as a mastermind of terror. To make matters worse, he had been refining the Venom formula, upping the dosage and improving its potency to increase muscle output while minimizing its toll on his body and mind. This made him deadlier than ever before. The Grim Knight tracked Bane to his fortified hideout, a massive industrial complex on the outskirts of Gotham. Inside, Bane's operations were in full swing. Labs dedicated to perfecting the Venom formula, training rooms where his men prepared for war, and armories stocked with weapons capable of plunging the city into chaos. For Bruce, this wasn't just an operation to dismantle. This was an execution. Bruce lay in wait, monitoring Bane's movements for days, studying his habits and routines. The Grim Knight's patience was unparalleled, and his planning meticulous. He needed the perfect moment to strike, and when it came, Bane wouldn't see it coming. Late one night, as Bane held a meeting with his top lieutenants in the heart of the compound, Bruce launched his ambush. The Grim Knight had already infiltrated the facility, laying traps and sabotaging key systems to ensure there was no escape. With a flick of a remote, the lights in the compound cut out, plunging it into darkness. Chaos erupted as Bane's men scrambled to respond. From the shadows, Bruce struck with precision. Armed with a mix of silent decapitations and lethal force, he picked off Bane's guards one by one. Explosives rigged to key structural points ensured there would be no reinforcements. The Grim Knight's ruthlessness was on full display. Every shot he fired, every strike he landed was calculated to send a message. No one was safe. It was a bloodbath. Bane, sensing the threat, activated his Venom injectors, the drug surging through his veins and amplifying his already monstrous physique. As Bruce finally revealed himself, stepping into the dim light of the central chamber, Bane roared, "You dare come here, Batman? You think you can kill me?" Bruce, clad in his advanced suit, stood motionless, his voice cold and calm. "Kill you? No, Bane, I'm here to have a chat," he said, grinning. The Grim Knight had always been a master of preparation, and his fight with Bane was no exception. As Bruce activated the recorder on his suit to watch back every moment of the battle with his advanced armor, it wasn't just a display of skill, it was a meticulous analysis of Bane's venom-enhanced physiology. Every move, every strike, every dose of venom was logged and calculated. Bane, confident in his overwhelming power, roared, "You'll need more than gadgets to stop me, Batman!" Bruce's bullets ricocheted harmlessly off Bane's thickened, venom-pumped skin, eliciting a laugh from the towering villain. "You're really starting to piss me off," Bane growled, increasing his venom output, his muscles swelling grotesquely. Bruce observed with clinical detachment. "Interesting," he murmured, almost to himself. As Bane charged, Bruce leaped into the air, releasing sticky grenades from his launchers. The explosives clung to Bane's back, detonating with enough force to obliterate a tank. Yet Bane barely flinched, the reinforced venom formula rendering him nearly indestructible. "You're gonna have to try harder than that," Bane bellowed. Bruce landed and taunted, "Come at me!" Bane obliged, rushing forward like an enraged bull. Bruce dodged with precision, delivering a flurry of explosive punches and shotgun-enhanced kicks. Each strike landed with surgical accuracy, but none seemed to faze the juggernaut. Bane retaliated with a devastating punch, sending Bruce hurtling 20 feet into a concrete wall. Blood trickled from Bruce's mouth as he rose to his feet, grinning through the pain. "You're gonna die here today," Bane snarled, advancing menacingly. "As I terrorize Gotham, I will feed its people hope, just enough to poison their souls." How ironic, isn't it? They fear you more than they ever feared me. Bruce chuckled darkly, a chilling sound that echoed through the chamber. You think I'm actually trying to fight Bane? He chuckled. Bane roared in frustration, maxing out his venom intake. His muscles rippled with unrestrained power as he entered a berserk rage. Charging Bruce, he unleashed a relentless barrage of punches, each one hammering Bruce into the concrete, cracking the wall beneath him. Blood spattered out from Bruce's mouth as he struggled to defend himself, the suit absorbing only part of the impact. Bane stepped back, surveying the broken figure before him. Disappointing, he sneered, raising his foot to crush Bruce's skull. And then Bruce laughed. It was a low, guttural laugh that grew louder, darker. Bane hesitated, his eyes narrowing. Are you laughing at me? Bruce spat blood onto the ground and grinned through crimson-stained teeth. You think you ever had a chance to kill me, Bane? His voice was calm, measured, mocking. This wasn't a fight. It was data collection. Before Bane could process the words, Bruce pressed a concealed button on his suit. A deafening gunshot rang out as the Batwing, hovering silently above the battlefield, unleashed a 150 caliber round. The bullet, custom designed to pierce even the thickest armor, struck Bane's skull with surgical precision. Bane's head exploded in a grotesque spray of blood and gore, his massive body collapsing like a felled tree. The chamber fell silent, save for the soft whirring of the Batwing as it descended. The grim night loomed over Bane's lifeless, headless body, his armor smeared with blood and debris from the brutal fight. With methodical precision, he extracted a vial of the newly formulated venom from Bane's injector system. This will come in handy, Bruce muttered to himself, carefully sealing the vial for later analysis. He then called the Batwing to his position, hoisting Bane's massive corpse aboard with no sign of effort or hesitation. As the craft soared through the night, Bruce remained silent, his mind already calculating his next move. His target was no longer just Gotham's underworld. It was the deeply rooted corruption in the halls of power. Arriving at the CIA headquarters under the cover of darkness, the grim night descended in the Batwing. With ruthless intent, he carried Bane's body to the steps of the building. Displaying it like a grim warning, he branded the iconic bat insignia into Bane's chest. Using Bane's blood, he scrawled a chilling message across the concrete steps, the uncomfortable truth. The grotesque display sent shockwaves through the nation as news outlets plastered images of Bane's headless body across their broadcasts. Anchors struggled to describe the horrifying scene, and the implications of such a brazen act left the public in a mix of terror and outrage. In Metropolis, Superman stood in front of a television, his jaw clenched as he watched the breaking news. The grotesque brutality of the grim night was escalating, and Bruce's tactics were becoming too extreme to ignore. Clark shook his head, conflicted. This isn't justice, he muttered to himself. It's vengeance, pure and unrestrained. But deep down he knew Bruce was no longer someone he could reason with. The grim night had become an unrelenting force, and now the world's safety hung in the balance. Superman's moral code screamed against the idea, but his resolve hardened as he realized the truth. If the grim night wasn't stopped, no one would be safe, not even him. I have no choice, Clark whispered, his voice tinged with sorrow. The decision weighed heavily on him, but he understood what had to be done. Superman clenched his fists, his gaze turning cold as he prepared for the unthinkable. Confronting Bruce one last time, even if it meant breaking his own vow. The grim night's lair was dimly lit, shadows dancing eerily as Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata resonated through the air, the melancholic notes filling the void like a requiem. Superman hovered silently just outside, his face a mask of grim determination. Inside, Bruce sat at a grand piano, his fingers gliding over the keys with haunting precision. What are you waiting for, Clark? Bruce's voice echoed, cold and taunting, as if he already knew Superman's presence. Clark scanned the room with his X-ray vision, his eyes darting for any trace of kryptonite. There was nothing, just Bruce, the piano, and the suffocating tension of a moment destined to spiral into chaos. With a heavy heart, Superman decided it was time to act. In less than a fraction of a second, he closed the distance, jamming a precision needle into Bruce's right eye. The body at the piano stopped moving, but the music didn't stop. The keys continued to play the somber melody on their own, revealing the piano to be automated. Then, from the corner of the room, a shadow moved. An X-ray-proof door creaked open, and the grim knight stepped into view. Superman froze as Bruce's voice cut through the darkness like a blade. "You couldn't kill me, Clark." "No, you wouldn't. Instead, a lobotomy. You've tried to leave me a vegetable, a shadow of myself. That's why you'll never win." Superman's chest tightened as he turned back to the piano. Slowly, almost hesitantly, he pulled off the bat mask from the figure frozen, touching the keys. To his horror, it wasn't Bruce Wayne. It was the Joker. The clown prince of crime's lips were curled in his final twisted grin, blood trickling from the eye where the needle had been lodged. Superman stumbled back, his stomach churning. He had been tricked. From behind, the grim knight's footsteps echoed as he approached. "I wouldn't wish that fate on my worst enemy," Bruce muttered, his voice laced with icy disdain. Superman turned just as Bruce raised his custom Magnum revolver. The deafening blast that followed was like thunder in the confined space. Joker's head exploded in a grotesque display of blood, bone, and brain matter, splattering the room. And Superman. Clark stood motionless, his suit and face smeared with Joker's remains. Bruce holstered his smoking gun with a smirk. "Clean yourself up, Clark," he said, his tone dripping with mockery. "You're supposed to be a symbol of hope, not despair." Clark took a closer look at Batman. His body was altered. Superman yelled, "What have you done? Share, like, comment, and subscribe for part 2.